So today's video is going to be the eyeshadow palette tag. This is going to be part 1. There will be a part 2. Just opening my eyeshadow palette drawer and remembering there's 2 over there, which I always forget. This was created by Ali Blindin and Samantha March. Karen Harris also did this video, and so did Angelica Nyquist to do this video, so let's just get into it. First question, show the newest palette. Show your newest palette. This would be my newest palette, would be the MUA Jeweled palette. I thought long and hard about getting this palette. I wasn't sure because I have, obviously, without this one, quite a few other palettes. I wanted to get this one because I had the purest one and I really loved this formula. So that's why I thought, but I was like, do I need this palette? Like, is this colour story something that I don't already have in my collection? Then I just decided to get it anyway. And another one that was new around that time is the Barry M water activated shadow as well. This is one that I just kind of picked up, like I didn't realise until when I'd actually bought this that it was actually water activated, but you can use setting spray. Well, I often use the setting spray, so then it's show your oldest palette would be this one. This is my Colourful Quad by MUA. This was the first ever palette I bought. This is the oldest palette of my collection. And it's gone everywhere. So I really like it. It's a great colour story. Like, I really like it. Enjoy using it. So they're both really good palettes. Number 3, show your most expensive palette. My most expensive palette is this one. This is the Revolution Forever Flawless, but I do love this colour story. Like, it's a really great colour story, really great quality. I love this. Like, I do like Revolution eyeshadow palette formula. For show my cheapest palette would be this Quad. I love the colours. It's an all matte palette. It's a really good quality palette and I really enjoy it. Number 5, show your everyday palette, would probably be this one that I use on an everyday basis. This is the Sofx Revolution palette. It's got all the colours I want to wear on an everyday basis other than blue, but I'm like, I can pull from other palettes. This is a great foundation palette. Gives a great base, it gives a mirror. I've used this and it's a really good palette. It has all the colours I need. It's got colours with neutral. So it's a really good palette. Show your most colourful palette would have to be this one. This is such a bright colourful palette. This is the MUA Quad palette. Pretty sure it's called the Bright Lush palette. So bright and colourful, I love it. It's going everywhere, making such a mess. And such a good colourful palette. Number 6, show your most smallest palette. This is definitely my smallest palette by far. If we want to go even smaller, then it's definitely this Barry M one. This is like a single eyeshadow. It's so small, it's so cute. It's great, like this would be the smallest, but if you wanted a small palette, it would be this one. Next is show your biggest palette. This is the biggest palette, I'd say. This is the MUA Professional Peacock palette. This has 20 shades. Whereas most of mine are like 12 to 15. Mine are like a lot of 12 to 15 in my collection, so this is big. Number 8, show your palette with the best memory. Probably this one because it was the first ever palette I bought for myself and Just remember buying it, being like, I want this palette so desperately. Like, I'd wanted this palette for a while. I just hadn't gotten into makeup yet at the time of wanting this palette, but I got into it, and this was the first palette I bought for myself. This was originally going to be a gift, but then it broke and I couldn't give it as a gift. So I kept it, used it, and it really helped to build up my skills. Number 9, show a palette that is worth the hype. Probably this palette. And this palette, the Sofx Revolution palette, was so hyped. Lots of YouTubers were talking about it, and I agree, this is worth the hype. It's such great quality. There again, all Soph palettes look really good. All of Soph's collabs with Makeup Revolution look really good. Number 10, show a palette that's not worth the hype. I don't have one, because they're all really good palettes. If I don't think a palette's worth the hype, I'm not going to buy it. Number 11, a palette that is underhyped. And this is the final. This is another question. This was a palette that is underhyped, would be this one. This is such a good palette. I don't see anybody talking about Barry M that much. It's a great palette. I love it. It's got my favourite neutral colour story in it. Just love it. And final question, show my most used palette. This one. It's obvious how used this palette is. It's so used. I've hit pan on so many shades. It's a really well used palette, and I've had it the longest, so it's so well used. So hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.